In a cave under a volcano, a man in a black and white cloak walked into the center of the volcano. The molten lava peacefully idly shifts from side to side. The man walked to the edge of the pool and extended his right hand and opened his palm. A blast of light comes from his hand and soon enters the pool, and the pool starts to move. "It's time for you to rise, my newest creation," the man commands. The lava starts to move even more, and an unknown creature shoots out from the lava and lands right next on the edge to the man. The beast snarls and looks at him and shows his teeth, and then shoots a beam of pure aura at the volcano wall and goes right through, making an entrance out. "You seem promising, my new creation," the man said. "I will call you Kurama," the man added. Kurama nods and starts to make its way out of the cave. The man quickly follows behind Kurama. "You can call me Zeke, and we have much to learn," Zeke said to Kurama. As the two made their way out of the volcano, Zeke was hoping to add yet another powerful demon to his book of demons. If trained well, Kurama could make a good asset in the future, but things would not go his way. Over the next 5 years, Zeke would try all he could to get Kurama to use its power and become a powerful demon. But Kurama was too aggressive and barely listened to Zeke. And Kurama was just not as powerful as other demons Zeke had already created. So Zeke decided to abandon Kurama and leave it to its own devices. He brought Kurama to a special place they would always train, and when he told Kurama to shoot a beam of aura, he quickly used teleportation magic to teleport it away. Kurama, filled with rage, would spend the next 300 years being an agent of chaos, causing trouble everywhere he went, hoping one day he could get revenge against the man that abandoned him. But Kurama isn't our main story. We will get back to him later. But for now, let's move on to our main story. On August 19th, 2003, Casey was brought into the world, being the son of husband and wife Janet and Michael Zorro, being brought up in the beautiful region of Kalos, in the heart of the region itself, Lumios City. Casey's mother was an independent contractor in a big company that made Pokemon medicine and care products, while his father Michael was a high-up Pokemon researcher in Kalos. And because of that, Casey was introduced to Pokemon pretty early on and came to love everything that was Pokemon. Casey's early days weren't too eventful. That was until July 14th, 2005, when his parents brought home a surprise, a little brother named Jacob. Casey loved Jacob very much, and much later on, when they were both older, Casey would become a mentor figure towards Jacob. But for now, the next 3 years went uneventful, until Casey would start his first day of kindergarten. Casey was very nervous about going, because he didn't have any friends, but he was soon hoping he could make some while going to school. It was around lunchtime when Casey was eating alone at a table when he heard someone whimpering coming from around the corner. "Hey, what's that?" Casey thought to himself. Casey got up from the table and turned the corner to see 3 tall boys picking on a little girl with blue hair. Casey could tell that the girl had been crying. Casey knew that he had to intervene. "Hey, leave her alone," Casey said while jumping in front of the girl. The girl looked up in shock to see that someone was defending her. The boys looked a bit taken aback before regaining their composure. "Oh yeah? And what if we don't?" the lead boy said with a smirk. "Well, then you'll have to get through me first," Casey said determinedly. "Well, if you say so then," the boy replied. Casey was then beat up mercilessly, but luckily for him, a teacher came by and dealt with the situation, and Casey was taken to the nurse's office, where he was given bandages and was fine to return to school. class. Now that at the end of the day, Casey was starting to walk back to his house when he heard someone behind him. "Hey, wait up!" a voice said behind him. Casey turned around to see the young girl he had saved at lunch running up to him. He stopped, and as the girl ran up to catch up to him. "Hey, what you did for me at lunch was very kind of you," the other girl spoke. You're welcome. I couldn't let those boys bully you," Casey said while smiling. "Hey, by the way, what's your name?" Casey pondered. "Oh, it's Nia." "And yours?" Nia reapplied. "Casey," Casey responded. From that point on, Casey and Nia would become the best of friends, and the next few years of his life, Casey would have a great time. That all would change, though, when he turned 8 years old. What Casey and his family didn't know at this time was that Michael wasn't being honest about his career choices. He was actually a leading member of Team Magma, a magma scientist, which would eventually lead to... We'll get back to that. "Daddy, when will you be back?" Jacob said sadly. Alright, so I will need to get everything, or else I will miss my flight. Bye, guys. Dad says as he runs out the door, waving goodbye to his kids one final time. Little did the family know at this time, this would be the last time they would see their father again, at least in this form. He is in now, where Michael was going on an emergency trip to Hoenn to make final preparations for Team Magma's new super weapon that could change everything. A Lucario covered in Team Magma colors, stronger than any Pokemon that was ever created before. And Michael, being one of the lead scientists, came to help with some final preparations. But as they all go, nothing can always go someone's way. The secret weapon managed to escape Team Magma's laboratory, and since Michael was the one on guard while it broke out, the blame was pinned on him. He was fired from his job, and now he wouldn't be able to explain to his wife and kids what happened. With all this and the stress of this weapon coming down on him, he goes insane. He just goes crazy, and he gets a ticket back to college to take out all of his anger on 3 people. But now that weapon is still around to this day. But it's not a weapon. All of you guys know him as Slice. Michael arrives back in Kalos completely insane. He enters his old home with the hope to kill his entire family before killing himself. I know, this is pretty dumb. He almost succeeds, but the police show up in time to try to arrest Michael, but they couldn't fully capture him. Running into the woods of Kalos, he would go completely insane and complete his transformation into Bloodlust, who would play a bigger role later in our story. Having almost been killed by my own father, I kind of changed. I became more reclusive, and I got a bit depressed because of it. But one person that was there for me the entire way through this was my good old pal, Nia. During this time, I've of course have been hanging out with Nia a lot, and I kind of developed feelings for her at this point. And when I turned 13 years old, a day after my birthday, I decided to go over to Nia's house and ask her out on a date. But I was one day too late. because what happened before this day, Gajeel kidnapped Nia, and I would never see Nia again for a long, long time. I arrive at Nia's house and I knock on the door. Hey Nia, you at home? There was no response. I look around and the street was a ghost town, and I decide to head back home and ask her tomorrow. But as I said before, that never happened. I would never see Nia again in my childhood. I looked everywhere around Lumio City, the surrounding fields. I looked everywhere, and I couldn't find her. With the incident of my father and with Nia's disappearance, I felt like I lost all purpose. I decided I had enough with Lumius. I had enough with this life. I decided one thing to do. I'm gonna travel the world and find a purpose for myself and to find Nia. What is it, honey? Janet said. Mom, I need to tell you something. What is it, honey? I decided to travel the world. I felt like I lost all purpose in life because, you know, with the incident with Dad recently and Nia. It was a long time before my mom finally spoke. Alright, honey, I trust you. Just be safe, okay? My mom said. I walked up to my mother and hugged her. I will, Mom. Thank you. During my travels, I would acquire many things. The first thing I acquired was a love for archery, even though this would be short-lived because after Fairy Tail, I never really used archery anymore. The second thing was I started to build up a Pokemon team. Not as big as the one in the BCU, but still a pretty competent Pokemon team. Probably around my tournament 13 strength. And finally, while visiting a library, I learned about magic. I had a fond interest in fantasy books during my childhood, and I decided, why the heck not? I'll learn some magic. I rented out a magic book for lightning, and after a couple weeks, I managed to learn a couple lightning spells. So now, and you could say that I was a mage now. And I would end up, after being a year on the road for so long, I finally end up in Galar, the place I always wanted to go visit, even though it's right next to where Palace is. I enter the slumbering Weald, knowing there's a town on the other side that I can stop for later. But in a cave overlooking the mountain, Kurama staggers up, just getting out of a battle with some mages. Kurama knew that he didn't have much time left, unless he did something insane. Kurama knows there's only one thing that can be done to save himself. To seal himself into a person that would one day be able to know that he was there. Kurama starts to sense around the forest for anybody, and then he stumbles across KINGKASEY. Seems like he has a chance, and it's really only my option now, Kurama muttered. As Kurama performed the casting spell on himself, I didn't sense anything as I was closing up my tent for the night, but little did I know, in that moment, Kurama was being sealed into my body. And for many nights to come after that, I would have nightmares about this unknown beast. Now, finally, I arrive in Azura Town, bringing us to I walk into town looking at all the amazing architecture and buildings. I've read about Azura Town. I always wanted to visit Azura Town, and now I'm finally here. I start to look around a bit, but then I hear a commotion coming from the plaza. I rush over to the plaza to see a robber with a woman's purse running away from I jump in front of him and I draw my sword. You better give that back. And what are you gonna do about it? The robber said. Kate, I start to get flashbacks of that same line that happened all those years ago when I first met you. I'll force you. Very well then. The robber proceeds to draw out a knife. I'm a bit shocked by this since I wasn't actually expecting to fight, but I pull up my sword and the robber jumps at me, ready to attack me. Meanwhile, in a completely different part of town, a man with pink hair is walking down the street eating some food when he hears a commotion coming from the plaza. He turns to see a kid no older than 14 battling a robber that looked like 22. He starts to run to intervene in this, but he stops to see what the boy does next. I send little knowing it. I barely know any thunder magic, but I do know how to send it into weapons. So I send as much thunder magic as I can into my stone sword, and I swing it at the knife. Both the knife and the sword get obliterated, and the robber gets sent back into a wall. Well, there goes my sword. Good job, me. I can tell the robber is shocked, and he drops the bag and runs away. People start to cheer me on for saving the woman's purse, but I got better things to do, so I start to walk away to try and find a hotel. That's when the pink-haired man starts to pick up on something. That aura. That's no normal aura, TJ muttered. I need to see what this kid is hiding. TJ says. I walked for a bit, looking around at the scenery, trying to find a hotel, before I heard someone calling me behind me. Hey kid, can I talk to you for a second? A voice says from behind me. I turn around to see a man with pink hair walking up to me. Sure. What's up? I saw what you did in the plaza, and I gotta admit, you got some skills. Do you mind if I ask you something? TJ replied. Sure. What is it? I want to see how strong you are. Are you down for a sparring match? Sounds fun, but one kind of problem though. My sword is kind of broken. No, not weapons. With magic. Oh, okay. Let's do it. All right then. Follow me. I quickly follow TJ as he turns around a corner. In about 15 minutes later, I arrive at a battlefield and TJ walks to the other side. All right, you, I'm ready. I make my hands into fists and I make thunder punches out of them. You know I am. And then we started to spar. I knew going into this that I was probably likely gonna lose, but I was gonna give it my best shot. I could tell that this TJ guy was going easy on me, so I tried to pump in as much power as I could, but no matter what I did, he still had the upper hand on me. But that's when I got knocked to the ground by a kick from TJ. And then I realized something. Wait, there's orange aura surrounding me. Wait, what? I don't mind this, and I quickly go to try to get an attack TJ. That must be it. TJ knew that. TJ instantly one punches me with a fire punch and quickly knocks me back into a wall, and the orange aura fades away. Geez, you're pretty good. Not too bad for yourself. Now you got the skills I'm looking for. Now come, I want to show you something. TJ begins to walk away. I stagger up and go to follow him. We go into the building that we just had our battle outside of. I look around and I see a lot of different people doing a bunch of stuff in this building. Casey, welcome to Fairy Tale.